All righty. Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. Mercy, does it show that we're recording pretty well there?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. It is great to have you guys here. My name is Dee Grano, and I work for an organization called Kelso Communications. And my team is helping Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy and their partners get the word out about the application reopening for the NC Extra Credit Grant Program and recent updates to that program. Now, I'm going to explain the run of show for our time together today, and I will be your primary point of contact. I've put my contact information in the chat, so if you need something, please feel free to follow up with me directly. So we are here today because of a special opportunity for parents struggling to meet the demands of educating their children during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that opportunity is the North Carolina Extra Credit Grant Program, which provides eligible families across the state of North Carolina the chance to apply for a $335 check intended to offset the expense of virtual and at-home learning. Now, originally, the deadline for this program was October 15, but it has been reopened for eligible applications via a website that was launched Friday. Now, today we're going to tell you a lot more about how and why that happened, but for the purposes of starting our conversation today, I want to make sure that you guys know the absolute most important things that we are trying to get across. That number one, the application process for the NC Extra Credit Grant Program is now up and running at 335fornc.com. And please note that that is the numbers 335 and the letters fornc.com. So we encourage those who are eligible and who have not already applied to do so as soon as possible. There are eligibility requirements on that website as well. Now, the timeline for application is very tight. All of the applications must be submitted before Monday, December 7, 2020 at 2 p.m. So I wanted to share an important update with you as of this morning. So we announced the application by email Friday to a list of about 5,200 people who had requested more information. And as of 9:30 this morning, we had more than 1,400 applications. Now, that's exciting to us because for every 3,000 extra credit grant applications that are approved and received through 335fornc.com, $1 million will directly support children living in poverty. So we are really excited about the impact of this program. So today I am joined by Saray Finley and Adam Dorr. Next, Saray is going to give an overview of the program, the eligibility requirements, and how those who are eligible can apply. And after that, Adam is going to talk about why this program was reopened. I know that several of you have reached out about that process and why and how that happened. We're going to go over all of that with you today, but do know that on the second page of the press release, it talks about that specifically, and there are two legal documents that are hyperlinked for your convenience. So again, that's on page 2 of the press release. It's the paragraph that starts Robinson Bradshaw, if you want to reference that very quickly. Okay, so after Adam speaks, we're going to get to your questions. Our aim is to be very efficient with your time. If you have a question, if you would put your name, your media organization, your email address, if you don't mind, and your question in the chat, we'll ask it. We'll get you the answer as quickly as we can. And again, if you need anything after this event, my name is Dee Grano, and my contact information will be in the chat. So for audio quality, if you don't mind, keep yourselves on mute. Know that this is recorded. And again, we will send the recording out. Please put your email address in the chat. All right, Saray. Oh, you are muted, Saray. Can you unmute and start over?
Yeah.
Thank
yes,
you.
Sorry about that. Good morning. My name is Saray Finley. I am a senior attorney at Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy. Here's a little bit about my organization. Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy is a nonprofit law firm, and for more than 50 years, we have advocated on behalf of low-income North Carolinians. The center provides those in need with information, advice, and advocacy in consumer protection, home preservation, healthcare access and public benefits, immigration, tax controversy, and more. I'm here to give you an overview of the North Carolina Extra Credit Program, for which the application process has been reopened. The application is now ready at 335fornc.com, the numbers 335 and the letters FORNC.com. Let's talk about who needs to apply for the Extra Credit Program and who is eligible. People who did not file a state tax return, which is not required for families with very low incomes. Also, people who did not complete the Extra Credit Grant application before the original October 15th deadline. People should plan to apply for the Extra Credit Program if they did not file a 2019 state tax return solely because their gross income for 2019 was below the amount where the state requires a tax return, meet all other requirements referenced in the law, including being a North Carolina resident for all of 2019 and having at least one qualifying child age 16 or under at the end of 2019. Most North Carolina households with children automatically received an extra credit grant check for $335 from the state this fall, provided they filed a 2019 state tax return by the October 15, 2020 deadline and met other program eligibility requirements. Many have already received their checks. If an individual applied through the North Carolina Department of Revenue application process before the original October 15 deadline, their extra credit grant check will come directly from the NCDOR, and they do not need to apply again. Unfortunately, we do not have access to the NCDOR system and cannot provide updates or support for those who are expecting a check but have not yet received it. Those eligible who did not apply for an extra credit grant before October 15th need to apply before the new deadline, which is December 7th. The most important things we need everyone to know are: 1, the application process for the North Carolina Extra Credit Grant Program is now up and running at 335fornc.com. We encourage those who are eligible and who have not already applied to do so as soon as possible. The timeline for applying for this program is very tight. All applications must be submitted by December 7th, 2020 at 2 p.m. Again, all applications must be submitted by December 7th, 2020 at 2 p.m. Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy and our partners have advocated for low-income people who were excluded from the North Carolina Extra Credit Grant Program. Together, we have created 335fornc.com to accept applications for the Extra Credit Grant Program statewide. Remember, this program is for all North Carolina residents, not just those in Mecklenburg County. Again, my name is Soray Findlay with Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, and I look forward to answering your questions in just a few minutes. With that, I would like to introduce Adam Dorr, who is going to give you more background on the program.
Thanks, Soray. Good morning. My name is Adam Dorr. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. I'm an attorney at Robinson Bradshaw, a full-service law firm that provides innovative legal services in the Carolinas and across the country. And I'm here to give you some background on how we got here today. So in early September, the North Carolina legislature passed a Coronavirus Relief Act, providing for $335 extra credit payments to North Carolina residents that were meant to offset the costs of virtual learning and childcare during the pandemic. So middle and high income families were set to get these grants automatically because they had all filed state tax returns as they're required to do under law. But many low income families, that is people with income below $20,000 or in some cases below $10,000, could only get an extra credit grant if they submitted an application to the Department of Revenue before the original deadline of October 15th, 2020. And the issue here was that only about 15,000 eligible low-income families learned about this program and applied to receive one of these $335 checks from the state. The rest, what we estimated to be tens or hundreds of thousands of eligible low-income families, were set to receive nothing, even though those are the families most in need of this kind of help. To remedy this issue for low-income families, Robinson Bradshaw brought a lawsuit for the legal aid of North Carolina, Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, and several low-income families, alleging that the exclusion of these low-income families was a violation of the state constitution. On November 5th, a court entered an order that reopened and extended the application period for eligible North Carolina families to apply for these $335 extra credit grants. We've now been helping the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy create a website that will accept applications conveniently and securely. As Saray mentioned, that website is 335fornc.com. That's the numbers 335 and the letters FORNC.com. And the most important thing that we want everyone to know is that the application process is now up and running. We encourage people who are eligible to apply as soon as possible because, again, the time for applications is very tight. All applications to receive extra credit grants and get these $335 checks must be submitted before December 7th at 2 p.m. If there's an application after that date, we can't do anything about it and the DOR will not accept it. So all applications need to be in by this deadline. Again, my name's Adam Dorr with Robinson Bradshaw, and I look forward to answering your questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Saray and Adam. So really, we're available to open the floor to questions. So, if anybody wants to ask a question, I think it's just going to be more efficient. Just let us know in the chat that you want to ask a question, and then we have a manageable number of people here. So if you would like to go ahead and ask your question, that's fine. But so we're not all talking over each other. If you would just let me know that you want to ask a question and unmute yourself, we can definitely do that. Let's see, I did put the spelling of Saray and Adam's names in the chat, so please make sure that you copy and paste that. Again, when we send out the recording, I will go ahead and I will type their names out in that email as well, so that you have it. So I don't see that anyone has any questions. Anybody? Let's just give it another second. I know there's some burning questions. They have to be. Either that or I wrote the tightest press release ever. Just being silly now. All right, well, I think this is what I would like to do, just to give everybody another minute to think of any further questions they may have. I'm actually going to share my screen and just walk you guys through the website very quickly. Again, this is something that we launched this Friday. We sent an email to 5,200 people Friday afternoon. We now have more than 1,400 applications, which we are very, very excited about. And so now the key is just to make sure that as many people know about this program as possible. And so that's where you come in. We do have, as you can see on this site, we've got the eligibility requirements here. We also have, it's very easy just to click a button and start your application. And again, you know, in any stories that you reference, just please make sure that people know as much as possible that that the deadline is really tight, because as Adam said, once that deadline passes, that's that. Actually, I do have one quick question, Adam, that I would like to ask you. And that is, do you know, obviously the application deadline is December 7th. Do you know when people who apply through 335fornc.com can expect a check? Do we know that for sure?
No, we don't know that for sure, because that date is really up to the Department of Revenue. So what happens is that we are under the court order taking these applications, and then we will be submitting them all to the Department of Revenue, and they have an internal deadline to get the checks out by the end of the year. But once we turn the applications over to them, it's sort of out of our hands, which is one of the reasons why we can't do anything about the deadline. And if there are issues with somebody's application, we won't be able to help anybody with that, unfortunately. So we're just trying to get as many folks as we can to apply right away.
Okay, that sounds great. I think that's very helpful. All right, again, does anybody who is on the call have any questions for us at all regarding anything whatsoever about the program? If not, I think we will conclude.
Can I just add one thing, Dee?
Yeah, you certainly can. Go ahead.
Sure. Just to all the folks on this call, I really hope that you will help get the word out about this program. We think it's really important to these families that they be able to get these funds. You know, higher income folks have already gotten checks for $335, but when it comes to a family needing to buy a laptop for their kids to attend remote school or pay the internet bill, these are the folks who really, really need it. And we can help them, but only if they learn about the program. So this is all federal coronavirus relief money, and we really hope it gets out to the people in need, and we really hope that you'll help us with that. So thank you.
And I think I read something that Adam sent over that, you know, for a parent living in poverty, $335 can be more than they make in a week. So for these people, it really does make an incredible difference. So on behalf of them, on behalf of our team, thank you everyone who joined us. Again, my name is Dee Grano with Kelso Communications. My contact information is in the chat. And I can tell from a lot of the names, in our participant queue that you all know how to find me. We'll be sending out this recording as soon as it renders and it's ready. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, we really appreciate your time. Have a great day.